With the American League's best record, the Houston Astros find themselves back out on the road again. Tonight, they open a 3-game series with the Blue Jays in Toronto's Rogers Center. Roberto Hernandez gets the opening start. Hi, everybody. Alan Ashby and Jeff Blum with you. The Astros coming off a 4-3 homestand, and at 13 games over 500, not a bad spot to be right now for the Astros.
Great spot to be. Winning at home, now they're on the road, going to continue the same thing that they were doing at home here on the road up in the Great White North.
One of the guys they're going to need to get that done to stay hot is Chris Carter. He's been swinging a big bat. 12-game hitting streak coming in.
Yeah, it's good to see Chris Carter getting hot. It's only taken him about 2 months to figure this thing out, but for the last 12 games, he's been doing a great job. Those numbers are pretty impressive. He has raised his average from 168 to 206 in those 12 games. So the man is swinging a good bat. We know when he is going well in that lineup, the Astros are going to go well too. Team's record in this last 12 games is 7-5, and it's best to look for him to start dropping that barrel like he was at home, hitting some big bombs here to a homer-friendly ballpark in Toronto. He has great numbers against Toronto, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs in 6 games.
Coming up, Julia will recap last month's sweep of the Blue Jays at Minute Maid Park. Then we'll have the first pitch coming up on Root Sports.
game set against the Blue Jays. These two teams are meeting for the final time this season, and they just recently met in the month of May. Toronto was in town, a forgettable series for those guys as Astros got on a roll about that time. They won 5 straight. 4 of those games came over this Toronto team. We take a look back at that 4-game series. Astros, that was the second 4-game series they took of the season, but check out these numbers when you compare what the Astros and Blue Jays did. Astros, of course, winning all 4 games, but they outscored them 24-15. The ERA, of course, much better there. Batting average, Astros hitting the ball a little bit better in that series than they have over the season, but the home runs, this is big right here. 8 home runs for the Astros, but holding this Toronto Blue Jays lineup to just 3 homers was the key, and 2 of those home runs came in the first inning of the very first game, back-to-back Bautista and Encarnacion. After that, shutting the offense down for Toronto. These two teams are a lot of fun to watch. If you like offense, and this ballpark sure can play to that as well. We have to keep an eye on guys like Chris Carter, Evan Gattis, who are heating up. And for more on the lineup tonight, I'm going to send it up to the guys in the booth. Ashton Blummer.
Thanks a lot, Julia, and a lot of good stuff there brought by Julia. And we will be seeing some good offenses here this evening. The Toronto Blue Jays have scored more runs than any other team in Major League Baseball. So they will slug it around. And it is a home run friendly ballpark, as Julia alludes to. And now our starting lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. George Springer in the top spot again, followed by Jose Altuve at second. And left fielder Preston Tucker, the middle 3, featuring Evan Gattis, the DH, center fielder Colby Rasmus, and Luis Valbuena at third base. In the bottom 3 in the order, Chris Carter. He's at first with that 12-game hitting streak. Doing the catching, Jason Castro. Jonathan Villar is at short.
On the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays, Aaron Sanchez, 22-year-old right-hander out of Barstow, California, making his 11th Major League start. Pitched a little bit in 2014, all in relief. Ground ball percentage is 3rd best in the American League, behind King Felix and, of course, Dallas Keuchel. See, those lefties are having their way with him at .321 average against. Features a fastball, curveball, changeup.
2 guys going to the mound tonight that like to feature the ground ball. We'll see how it plays out as George Springer takes a strike. And a good arm there, featured at 96 miles an hour.
That was some easy gas.
It was. Springer hitting .227, has 8 bombs on the year, looking for that 20th RBI, and takes another strike. Very intriguing numbers between these 2 clubs as they start up this final series of the year between the 2 clubs. 7 meetings overall. The Astros again have taken the first 4. But when you look at that run differential that sets up for what a lot of people call the Pythagorean theorem, the Houston Astros, who start the night in first place at 34-21, have apparently had fortune on their side with their run differential. The Pythagorean theorem says they should be 31-24. The Toronto Blue Jays, on the other hand, have not had things go their way. They're 25-30. Springer fouls one off. But with that theorem factored in, they should be 31-24. So you've got 2 ball clubs that factor out the very same winning mark right now. John Gibbons is dealing with a club that has not had fortune on his side. They've lost a lot of ball games late. The Astros have been able to win games late, and a lot of that comes, I would think, Blummer, to the bullpen.
That's all it is for me. That was a main priority, and it seems to have been fixed.
There's the first out of the night, strikeout of Springer. That'll bring up Jose Altuve.
It's early. Guys are going to get a chance to see what Aaron Sanchez has right there. A nice firm slider down and away. We'll take a look around Rogers Center and see who's playing behind. Chris Colabello in left, Kevin Pillar in center, Jose Bautista in right, Donaldson and Reyes on the left, Goins and Smoke on the right, and the native son, Russell Martin, playing behind home plate.
Nice feature at the stadium here on Russell Martin and his father, who is a somewhat renowned musician, and the fact that he has played the national anthem at the ballpark with his son there, and pretty nice little piece. Jose Altuve hitting .295. That's a slump for Altuve, who won the American League batting title a year ago. Counted 0-2. Sanchez throwing strikes here early. They had the roof closed leading up to the ball game. There was a lot of rain in the area, but it has apparently seen all of the rain leave heading east, and now the roof has opened, so a very nice evening for a ball game. Russell Martin's tossed back to the mound. Needs a backup man.
How'd that make you feel as a catcher? Did you ever do that? Airmail one?
Oh, I probably did somewhere. I've blocked it out, but yeah, it was some of the throws around the infield that probably made me notorious.
I've done that many a time.
Yeah, it's always nice to throw that strikeout into left field and then take the razzing. Pop fly down the right field side. Jose Bautista is the right fielder now as he makes the catch. Second out here in the first inning. Bautista did not play in right field in that 4-game set in Houston. He was the DH, and that really changed things for the Toronto Blue Jays in their batting order. It forced him to be the DH. Edwin Encarnacion, who is the normal DH, had to play first base. They lost Justin Smoke at first base, a very good defensive player, and it kind of had that domino effect. So not sure the Astros saw the strongest of Blue Jay clubs. Preston Tucker, after a couple of days off, gets back in there. Tucker off to a fine start in the major leagues, hitting .292, a pair of home runs, each coming as a pinch hitter. Sees the breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-1, or rather 94 on the heater, excuse me. As Blummer mentioned, just 22 years of age for Sanchez. 2-1 the count. So again, the Astros 34-21. They're 5.5 games in front in the American League West. The Angels in second place, followed by Texas, Seattle, and Oakland. Texas playing very good baseball, 28-26 overall, as the count moves to 2-2 on Preston Tucker.
I wonder if Sanchez is working with a couple different fastballs. We've seen 96 a couple times now. Now you see 93, and there was good depth on that sinker. Looks like a lot of fun to deal with.
And now full count. Kevin Gaddis waits on deck.
That motion from Sanchez looks a little deceiving. Kind of effortless fastball coming in there, about 95 miles an hour.
Got good numbers in his 2 years in the major leagues. Fly ball somewhat deep left center field, just jogging back. Pilar makes the catch. A couple of strides from the warning track, a 1-2-3 first inning. So we're scoreless here in Toronto as we get started in this 3-game set. Bottom of the first inning, Blue Jays coming to the plate. A scoreless ball game as the Astros went down in order in the top of the first inning. And now that lineup for the Toronto Blue Jays of John Gibbons has Jose Reyes in the top spot. He's at short. Third baseman Josh Donaldson and Jose Bautista, the right fielder, follow. Middle three, Edwin Encarnacion, Chris Colabello, and Russell Martin. And the bottom three for the Blue Jays, Justin Smoke, Kevin Pilar, and Ryan Goins.
For your Houston Astros, Roberto Hernandez on the hill. Some tough numbers right there, 2-4 in the win-loss column. ERA getting up around that 5 mark. Having a tough time in those last 3 starts, getting that sinker down in the zone, creating that depth and that good run, trying to blow up right-handed hitters, trying to get the ground ball. That pitch flattens out. Could be tough for Roberto.
There's the sinker for a strike at 89. This is the guy the Blue Jays need to be a big-time player. Their shortstop, there have been stories about his defensive speed slowing down. Counted 0-2 as he fouls one left side. And I guess that's normal once you start getting a little older. As a shortstop, it shows up more maybe than other positions.
Is that why they grew the turf out for him?
Maybe so. Slow down those balls in the infield. And they have grown it out, that is for sure. A little pop on the left side. Foul territory. Valbuena makes the catch and 1 out.
You got to look at Valbuena out there at third base and see who else is out on that field. Preston Tucker in left. Colby Rasmus back in his old stopping grounds in center field. George Springer in right. VR is going to be alongside Valbuena at shortstop. Jose Altuve and Chris Carter, the mainstays on the right side of the infield, and Jason Castro working with Roberto Hernandez.
Brings up Josh Donaldson, and he has been tearing it up. 9-game hitting streak coming in. Formerly of the Oakland A's, and one of those deals in the offseason that a lot of people raise their eyebrows to, and you can see some of the numbers there on Donaldson. 39 RBIs, tied for 3rd in the league. So he's been very effective. He's a third baseman who a lot of people love defensively. He committed 23 errors last year while with Oakland, and yet he's got a lot of range. Over his last 9 games, 15 for 38. That's a .395 batting average. 2-1 the count, and that's dangerous when you're facing a guy like this. He is a free swinger.
And that was kind of that flat fastball. Doesn't have much depth going down in the zone. If it lays out over the middle of the inside, a guy like Josh Donaldson is going to cream it, especially the way he's swinging the bat now.
In that 9-game streak, 3 doubles, 6 home runs, 11 RBIs. And he drives one right center field, but Rasmus back fills up the gap. 2 down here in the first. That'll bring up Jose Bautista, known by a lot as Joey Bats, and for good reason. He has put up some enormous seasons as a member of the Blue Jays. He's had a bad shoulder this year. It kept him away from playing right field, where he is just exceptional when he can let it go. Word is the throwing arm is not all the way back, but he did hit his 8th home run of the year yesterday as the Blue Jays were able to defeat the Washington Nationals. Strike well spotted on the outside edge. We've talked about that Astros sweep of the Blue Jays in Houston back in May, and the Astros have now beaten the Blue Jays 7 consecutive times. Another perfectly spotted pitch. 0-2.
That was pretty much filthy. Good backdoor sinker to start with, and now you throw the slider on that same spot. See if you can put him away.
It's just pop foul just to the right of Jeff Blum. The range has diminished a bit as the years have gone by, and
well, that's due to a concrete wall. I would have gone right through that thing for that foul ball too, Ash.
I didn't identify why. It just has.
Could be the extra weight too.
I doubt that. Bautista has an 8-game hitting streak. And a 1-2 count. Edwin Encarnacion waits on deck. Blue Jays have got some guys on streaks. We mentioned Donaldson's 9-game streak. Bautista at 8. Chris Colabello, the left fielder, has a 14-gamer. And then on the flip side, Edwin Encarnacion 0 for his last 11. Chopper goes foul. Count stays at 1-2. Now, this is an intriguing series for me. The Astros obviously 13 games over 500, in a great spot, 5.5 games in front of both the Angels and the Texas Rangers. And now you go out on the road once again. You kind of test the waters. The Astros have the best road record in all of Major League Baseball. But you do it in Toronto, a team that's starting to come on. And then come the White Sox. That ground ball is foul as well.
He's getting in the kitchen of Joey Bats. Shaking that top hand tells you that he's getting jammed a little bit. It's kind of unique the way the schedule's lined up, facing these teams so close together. And, you know, it's almost bunched up. Faced them last week. Got to face them again this week.
Changeup got him. Down on strikes, Bautista. 1-2-3, bottom of the first inning. We are scoreless after 1 inning of play. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. From the Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario, ballpark still holds up pretty well. It's been a long time for the Blue Jays since they've gotten to the postseason. Back to 1993. They did it 3 consecutive years, 2 World Series victories in there, 92 and 93. But there are a lot of Blue Jays fans hungering to see their team get back into postseason play. And you can see from 89 through 93, they were the dominant team in Major League Baseball. Evan Gattis leads off in the second inning. Boy, this is easy gas. 2-0 the count, 95 on that heater. For Evan Gattis, a .234 batting average may not sound like much, but he has come from the depths. And 3-0 the count. The Astros continue to lead the major leagues in home runs. And that prompts the question, green light?
Better believe it.
There's the green light. Chopper to third. Donaldson makes the play, and out number 1 here in the second inning.
Not the result you wanted, but you wanted to see him get the green light.
Yeah, Evan Gattis is, for me, one of those guys that's not scared about RBI situations or whatever the moment may be. He's just ready to air it out. Quite a difference between the left-hand hitters and righties against Sanchez.
You noticed that too, huh?
How about the slugging percentage as well as the batting average? Former Toronto Blue Jay Colby Rasmus at the plate. Was there any intent to that pitch? Colby left with apparently not the best of circumstances here from Toronto.
I don't think there was any intent. The 3 balls that were thrown to Evan Gattis were in the exact same spot. I think the guys that throw extremely hard have a tendency to yank those pitches, holding on a little too tight.
I mean, like some of us trying to hit a golf ball a little too hard?
Yep, turbo hook it.
2 balls, no strikes.
I think I've mastered that.
Well, that's a kind of a change in game plan for you. Ground ball into the shift. Goins with the play. A couple of ground ball outs here in the 2nd inning. It'll bring up Luis Valbuena. So Sanchez, we talked about his tendency to get the ground ball. Gets 2 in the 2nd inning after a strikeout and 2 fly balls in the 1st. Luis Valbuena 0 for his last 6. That batting average at 193, but he's tied for the leadership on the club in that home run category with 12. Mentioned the Blue Jays leading the major league, 75 home runs on the year. They're also tied for 1st in the American League at 45 in the stolen base category. That shift puts Reyes right in position to take the line drive hit by Valbuena. 1-2-3 2nd inning. We're yet to see a base runner.
Welcome back. No score to the Astros and Blue Jays. Bottom of the 2nd. Roberto Hernandez gets back to work, and AJ really wanted to see him get into this game cleaner. He's got to be happy with a 1-2-3 first. He's had a hard time simulating the 1st innings. Just he has to be ready from pitch 1. Also, the slider, you guys were mentioning that pitch earlier. That's something he's been working on in his bullpens here recently. It's kind of been loose. He's been trying to sharpen it up a little bit. Hasn't been as tough on righties as it needs to be. Definitely needs it tonight against this lineup.
Thanks, Julia. And it would appear, based on what we're seeing from Sanchez, that there's going to be a need to be sharp on the hill. Sanchez throwing very well. Edwin Encarnacion hitting just .216. He's 0 for his last 11. He's had some success against Hernandez on his career. Just a couple of hits, but both of those home runs. That's a 1-1 count as he leads off in the 2nd inning. He'll be followed by Colabello and Martin. 1-2 the count. Very powerful hitter. Encarnacion also one of those guys the Blue Jays need to be dominant with the bat. Pretty much relegated to that DH role, but he fills it well. Slams one, but with the shift on, VR is right in position. Second line drive we've seen hit right at an infielder.
That's good for pitchers, bad for hitters. This is that slider that Julia was talking about, kind of backed up a little bit right into the barrel of Edwin.
Check your glove. Make sure you didn't break a strap there. And he's saying it moved around on him. You get a lot of those line drives as an infielder where you just feel like it's almost a knuckleball.
Oh, yeah, plenty of times. It's almost worse at shortstop because he had so much longer to see it. At third base, he just had to react.
Chris Colabello at the plate, and he's been red hot. Hammers one right center field, back at the wall. This one off the wall. Extra bases as Springer gets it back in. A one-out double for Colabello. First base runner of the night. And a 15-game hitting streak now for the Toronto Blue Jays left fielder.
Obviously, the kid's swinging the bat well, but I remember watching Chris when he was with Minnesota, and for the life of me, I don't know why you throw him anything over that outer edge of the plate. Loves to get his arms extended, goes the other way extremely well.
So Colabello at second base, scoring position for Russell Martin, who's 0 for his last 6, the batting average at .267. Canadian-born player and a very good one. That pitch nowhere close to where Jason Castro had set up.
I'll tell you what, when Russell Martin first got called up and was playing with the Los Angeles Dodgers, he was borderline a 5-tool player behind home plate. He could run extremely well. He had power. He had a great arm, great receiver.
He still throws very well. And slider misses. 2-0 the count. He has stolen as many bases as 21 in a season back in those Dodger days, 2007. But he had 4 consecutive years stealing double-digit bags. He's hit as many as 21 home runs. So there's the power side of the game. Hit .293 in his second year with the Dodgers. He has come up in MVP voting. Both of his years in Pittsburgh, ironically. 24th and 13th in that voting. But when you get mentioned at all, very good thing.
I think a lot of that had to do with how well he handled that pitching staff. Turned them into a playoff ball club going behind the plate for the Pirates.
Hit .290 with the Buccos last year. And of course the Pirates made it into postseason play. 3-1, dangerous count. And now the walk. So the Blue Jays have the only 2 base runners of the night. Runners at first and second, 1 out for Justin Smoke. And we check in with Julia.
Thank you, Ash. Join the Astros at Minute Maid Park Friday, June 12th as they take on the Mariners. 10,000 fans will receive a gym bag presented by Houston Methodist. For more info, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Thank you, Julia. It is a 6-game road trip. 3 here in Toronto, 3 on to Chicago with the White Sox. Justin Smoke at the plate. Big guy hitting .250. Has 3 homers on the year. And that sharpness now seemingly eluding Hernandez. Smoke a switch hitter. 28 years of age. And the change is low. 2-0 the count. Originally drafted by the Texas Rangers. He was a first rounder. And you can see why. 11th pick overall in 2008. Made his major league debut at the age of 23. He's been with Texas, Seattle, and now Toronto. Look at George Springer in right field. Is that a little bit shallow on a guy with this kind of pop?
I guess you're assuming if he gets a hold of it, it's going over your head, but that is a shallow right field on a power hitting left-handed hitter. But again, I'm up here, and I'm not privy to the information they have down there.
Well, George can go get it, that's for certain. Ground ball right side. Can they get to Altuve, VR, and Carter? And they do get the double play. It goes 4-6-3, and that ends the second inning in a tough collision at second base as VR goes down. A scoreless game after 2.
And it's time for our Geico quote of the day, coming from skipper A.J. Hinch, talking about yesterday's loss, that it's hard to be disappointed when you win 3 out of 4. It's hard to be disappointed when you have a winning homestand. They had a lot of missed opportunities, guys, yesterday, going 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position and stranding 7 on base. That was the disappointing part of it, but when you look at the way these guys play every single day, A.J. definitely happy with the way they battled. And, of course, 17 come-from-behind wins for this team this year. That leads the majors. So it can be done with this group. Just didn't happen yesterday.
Yeah, thanks, Julia. And well, we'll get to it in a moment. But Blummer, how about this play at second?
That's just good old-fashioned Schinberger right there. Decent takeout by Russell Martin. High throw from Altuve, so VR's got to go up and get it a little bit. But you see that front foot, that plant leg when you're throwing, usually sticks in the ground, and that's what most guys are going after. Just a good hard slide.
Yeah, it looked like VR did the smart thing to get the feet airborne as quickly as possible.
Yeah, you just kind of try and give with it.
Chris Carter with a 12-game hitting streak. Has a 1-1 count here as he leads off the third inning. By the way, A.J. Hinch, big congratulation going out as A.J. has been named to the 2015 All-Star coaching staff. Pretty cool. Ned Yost is the manager this year. A.J. got the call. Said, absolutely, I'm game.
It should help Dallas Keuchel's chances.
Yeah, I would like to think that Dallas doesn't need any help. Pitcher of the month, first 2 months of the season.
Say nobody else has won it.
And Sonny Gray had some great numbers, but the one-loss record was not great for the month of May. Do you know what it means also is that Dallas on the ground ball here to the left side. Reyes will throw in the dirt and dug out by Smoke. Nice play defensively by Justin Smoke for out number 1. But for me, it says that Dallas Keuchel is starting to be known for what he is now nationally.
Oh, he's getting all kinds of attention now. Good scoop by Justin Smoke. That's tough to do because you get these artificial surfaces. You have that dirt pit. You're kind of worried if it's going to hit that lip or not. Got to hang in there.
Justin Smoke reminds me a little bit in a Blue Jays uni as Roy Halladay. Ground ball hit to second base. Goins will throw out Castro. So on one pitch, Castro grounds out. 2 down here in the third inning. That's 4 ground ball outs recorded now by Sanchez.
I'd have to see Smoke sinker first.
Yeah. So when you hear the name Roy Halladay, you think super sinker then. Did you face him much?
Yeah.
Was he one of those guys that you just knew you were in a tough day for, or that you just thought, boy, this guy is tougher than everybody else?
Really couldn't get a book on him. You know, most guys have a tendency that they go to in certain counts, or they have a certain way of attacking you. He mixed it up every time I faced him. I felt like he'd start me off with a different pitch every time. Pitch backwards, pitch forwards, pitch sideways. He had it all.
Jonathan VR at the plate has a 2-0 count. Boy, that sinker at 94. That is legit great stuff.
Yeah, if he can corral that thing, and he has so far. But that was one of the interesting numbers for me on Sanchez, is that 58 innings pitched coming into this game, 37 walks.
Finds the inside edge. Maybe great stuff is hard to corral. Lance McCullers didn't seem to have any problem the other night.
No, he did a fantastic job. That guy's growing up right in front of us.
Boy, that was fun to watch. And not only a guy throwing hard, as 97 miles an hour numerous times on the evening would tell you, but just to watch the way he commanded the strike zone. Chopper to second. Goins makes the play. And a 1-2-3 third inning. 9 in a row retired by Sanchez. We're scoreless after 2.5.
Jays. Faith and Family Night presented by Houston Methodist is back in 2015. Christian rock band Mercy Me returns to the stage at Minute Maid Park for a post-game concert Saturday, June 13th after the Astros take on the Mariners. For more information, visit astros.com/faith. Ash.
Thank you, Julia. Pleasant weather here, huh?
Yes, it is, Ash.
I was waiting for Julia to respond.
Sorry. Yes, it is, Ash.
Yeah, opening the roof, I heard Julia talking about how nice it felt down at field level earlier. So I'll just assume she said exactly what Blummer just said. 8-9-1 coming up for the Blue Jays. Kevin Pillar leads it off. Jays have the only hit of the night, a double by Chris Colabello. The Astros have turned the only double play as Justin Smoke grounded into that to end the second inning. And a 1-1 count. Umpires tonight, by the way, John Hirschbeck is calling the balls and strikes behind the plate. Bill Welke at first. Sam Holbrook is at second, and at third, James Hoy. Ground ball back to the mound, knocked down by Hernandez. Can he make the play? That throw is not in time. So Pillar beats it out.
Tough luck right there for Roberto. We get spoiled rotten watching a guy like Dallas Keuchel, who's always in the right position, helps us out his own cause. That ball gets by him. I'm sure VR makes the play, but still think Roberto had a shot at this.
Yeah, I don't know how you tell a guy on the mound not to reach for that ball and try to make the play. Really tough.
No, those instincts are going to take over, that's for sure.
That's a leadoff single. Nobody out for Ryan Goins, the second baseman. Hitting just .240 on the year, 1 home run. Shows bunt and takes a ball.
It's actually a pretty good sinker from Hernandez. It's a good location for it, down in the zone, running.
If you're wondering about that running game for the Blue Jays, the Jays are 8th in the American League in stolen bases with 29. They've been very successful, though. They've been caught just 5 times. So what is it the Blue Jays do well? Well, offensively, again, they've scored the most runs in baseball. They're 3rd in the league in home runs with 64. They're 3rd in batting average at .263. 2nd in on base, 1st in slugging. So they're a good offensive club. And I imagine you can pin some of that on this ballpark.
Be tough to do it on a good changeup like that, down in the zone. Yeah, I mean, the ballpark's going to come into play a little bit, but these guys can crush.
Yep, I agree. Nobody out, a runner aboard.
Like you said, down the line, 328, 375 in those gaps. It plays pretty true, but center field at 400 is probably pretty small these days for some of these guys in the power.
I know you heard the news about Towles Hill being sent to pasture come next year. Your thoughts?
What a great idea.
Instead of a 1-1, a throw to first base. And the fans here in Toronto love the idea.
It's a unique feature. It was there for a while. I think we've got a new Astros ball club out here, maybe a new brand, creating some more space out there in center field for some of the fans, and then making it a little more conducive to the fly ball that goes out of the ballpark that the Astros hit too.
I think George Springer's going to be on your side of that.
I was just going to say, tell me George isn't excited about it.
Yeah, I've actually heard George and another teammate talking about that center field area and how disastrous it is. That wasn't the choice of words, but it was really in that category about how difficult it is to be able to hit home runs when you hit a ball great to center field.
There's got to be some reward there. I understand the quirkiness of a ballpark too, but to hit a ball 436 feet is a massive shot.
Runner goes from first, pitch foul down the left side. Little hit and run for the Blue Jays. Counts at 2-2 on Goins.
I know Craig Biggio's kneecaps are going to be happy to see that hill gone.
And maybe a little too late, huh? He was one of the center fielders that kind of got toyed with a bit, trying to go get one of those.
Well, that was the years that Jeff Kent was here in Houston, and Biggio said, yeah, I'll go play center field. And he played it actually quite well. But
such a great athlete.
And there were a couple times that ball went flying up on the hill, and he gave it his best effort and just got his lower half cut out from underneath him and proceeded to just be in the Superman pose face down on the hill.
And then you take what Jake Marisnick did this year with that play, and maybe you have to be fortunate to have it work out that way, but Marisnick sure made it look great.
But for me, one of the iconic catches up on Towles Hill has got to be Lance Berkman's.
Oh, it's the best of all time.
When he rolled over, had a big smile on his face, like, can you believe I just did that?
2-2 the count, 3rd inning. There goes the runner again as the pitch is hit in the air right field. Pilar gets back easily as Springer comes under, and out number 1. So the Blue Jays trying to run a couple of times.
Yeah, this is the one.
Lance Berkman made this play.
Rob Makoviak hit that ball off of Roy Oswalt. Look at Lance, graceful as ever. What a play right here. That grin says it all.
Well, the glove is facing the backside is to home plate, and so that's almost impossible, but Lance could pull it off.
Lance could do anything he wanted in an Astros uniform. That's great.
1 out here in the 3rd inning. Top of the order now with Jose Reyes. He hammers one right field. George is not going to get to this ball. And only fans will have any shot. It's a 2-run home run for Jose Reyes as he gives the Blue Jays a quick 2-0 lead here in the 3rd inning.
Sometimes it's the unlikely suspect.
Yeah, number 1 on the year for Reyes.
Reyes got himself a hanging changeup from Roberto Hernandez and jumped all over it. He's got pop. Like you said, Ash, kind of having an off and on year. Injuries have plagued him up here. But this one right here, he didn't miss it.
Ground ball up the middle off the bat of Josh Donaldson. That's a base hit. 3rd in the inning, 4th on the night for the Blue Jays. And so Donaldson now has a 10-game hitting streak. One out for Jose Bautista. And if you get this Blue Jays club off and running and the offense starts clicking, they can make it a tough series on you.
They can put up numbers in a hurry.
They are the only team in Major League Baseball this year averaging over 5 runs a game. They average 5.15 runs a game.
That is doing some work.
And yet, they have a losing record.
Their pitching staff look.
Yeah, the pitching staff is not glowing, if you want to put it in gentle terms. That Toronto Blue Jays pitching staff has an ERA of 4.41. That's dead last in the American League. And it kind of goes from there. It's all about the offense for the Blue Jays. And this guy keys the offense much of the time. Towering bomb left side, and it's a fair ball and way up over the second tank. 4-0 Toronto Blue Jays for Jose Bautista, his 9th of the year.
Woo! The guy's got some pop. That's that pop we were talking about. It doesn't matter what ballpark you're in. You elevate against a guy like Bautista. If you don't have some velocity on it, he's going to barrel it up and launch it. Right off the facade on the 3rd deck.
4 runs in the inning. A couple of home runs. And so you're getting a glimpse of what the Jays can do offensively. You keep in mind the Astros have been pretty darn good themselves, but they've been up against a young right-hander with some terrific stuff here this evening. They trail 4-0 to the Astros. Yeah, I was part of things here in Toronto during the big years for Jose Bautista, and it was off the charts unbelievable. Line shot will drop in front of and now up and over Colby Rasmus. Extra bases for Edwin Encarnacion as he snaps an 0 for 12 with the double.
It was an interesting play all the way around. Colby Rasmus has played here at the Rogers Center. The turf is different this year. But I think initially off the bat, Colby thought he had a chance to catch this. That's why the route was going towards the ball. Therefore, when it impacts the turf, it still jumps. We talked about how long the turf is. It'll slow the ground ball down, but I think at the same time, it still bounces off it like normal turf.
For Edwin Encarnacion, double number 7 on his season. And for Roberto Hernandez, another start now that is in that shaky category. 1 out, a man in scoring position for Chris Colabello, who with a double in the 2nd inning gave himself a 15-game hitting streak. That double was his 8th of the season. Strike to the knees, a ball and a strike.
That's a good pitch from Hernandez. Talked about how Colabello can get extended right there. Castro setting up in. Nasty pitch. Gets the call.
I was talking about Jose Bautista in the big years. And he's had a string of them. But he had back-to-back seasons that he led in home runs. 54 bombs in 2010 after hitting 13 the previous year.
Oh.
54 bombs. The following year, he drove 43 long balls. That also led the league. In fact, 132 RBIs that year. He had a OPS over 1,000 and was third in the MVP voting. So, line shot into center field. This will score Encarnacion. 5-0 Toronto here in the third inning, and still just one out. 2 for 2 on the night is Colabello.
So hard as a pitcher when you don't have your A+ stuff in an inning. You've got to be able to execute the pitch. We saw him get ahead of Colabello on some pretty good pitches inside, but here it was a hanging changeup out over the middle of the plate. Professional hitters, 2-strike counts that get hanging off speed pitches usually get hits off them.
That's 5 straight Toronto hits as Brent Strom comes out to the mound. 6 in the inning, 7 on the night. We're just in the third inning. And you keep in mind that Roberto Hernandez had a good-looking 1-2-3 first inning. And I beg your pardon if the voice cracks a few times tonight. I've had a little battle going on with a cold. I think the cold is winning. Jake Buchanan getting loose in the Astros pen.
Rapidly.
Those are tough meetings at the mound when the pitcher knows you're trying to buy some time. And
I'm actually surprised some of the infielders haven't gone in and had a chat with Roberto. Not in the sense that they're going to tell him to make an adjustment or, hey, try this, but just in the simple fact he's getting beat around a little bit, and give him a breather. Maybe break up the rhythm of that offense and give him a chance to regroup.
And again, that rhythm with 5 consecutive hits. Russell Martin at the plate, drew a walk in his only plate appearance. Valbuena on to Altuve. They'll get the out call. Not a good throw from Valbuena, and it set up a tough opportunity for Jose Altuve. So that's out number 2 on the fielder's choice.
The desire right here by Valbuena was to turn that double play. Realizing the situation they're in, a lot of runs being scored, they want to get out of this with 1 ground ball. But credit Altuve with a good pick.
John Gibbons, the skipper of the Blue Jays, has to be pleased with what he sees. And especially after the Jays came into Houston and got it handed to them. A 4-game sweep in May.
Well, you talked about it earlier. It's all about timing when you play some of these ball clubs, too. And a depleted Toronto Blue Jays lineup down there in Houston got swept.
9th hitter of the inning, Justin Smoke stands in. It was Smoke grounding into the 4-6-3 double play to kill the 2nd inning. Runner goes from first, pitch a ball, the throw down to second is a strike. Jason Castro continues to throw very well as he throws out Russell Martin. That'll do it. The Blue Jays get 5 in the 3rd inning, lead at 5-zip. Back at the Rogers Center, they are reviewing that caught stealing initially called at second base to end the third inning for Toronto. Russell Martin took off. And in watching the replays, what are you seeing, Blummer?
I don't know if there's enough there to turn it around for me. It was a great slide by Russell Martin, but that angle right there looks like VR got him to me. But you can see he initially put the glove down in front of the bag looking to get that left arm, but the swim move, that might be a more definitive look at it right there. It almost looks like Russell Martin got the arm around there.
There's also the instant where the right hand comes off the bag and the left hand has to take over and get there. Is there a tag applied at, well, yeah, that Russell Martin may have timed that perfectly. Still waiting on the umpires and the review.
That's what makes it interesting. And we got these numbers earlier in the day. Confirmed and stands are pretty much the same number for me. So those are, you can combine the 24 and the 28, but the overturned, almost half these calls are getting overturned. So it's crazy to me to think that it's almost 50-50 on whether or not these reviews get turned over or not.
Yeah, I've been seeing at least some other people, prominent people in the game, feeling the way I do, that you really would be better served if you had an extra umpire at the ball game, and he was looking at replays and maybe even at times calling down and saying, hey, we need to review this play, or here's the way it went.
That's a great thought, but I also think that there should be a ex-player somewhere in the review booth just to try and explain situation, or what the runner's trying to do, or what the catcher was trying to do, what the shortstop was trying to do, just to have a little bit of a player input. Ultimately, the umpires do have the call.
Yeah, I like that.
But just to offer a little more insight, some on-field, you've got on-field umpires in the booth. Why not have an on-field player to give just a little more input if necessary?
Would that possibly be a player you wouldn't have to travel, but he would come to his home ballpark at all times?
Or just have, if there's somebody in the vicinity of New York, 3 or 4 guys that can come in on a consistent basis and watch these things.
You know, for me, this is taking too long. If it takes this long, then it really should not be reversed.
Got a hung jury on the next episode of Law and Order. Well, that's the thing. The average time we saw on the end of that graphic we saw was 1:47. This is putting a serious damper on that number right now, and I agree with you.
They're going to stay with the out call, so apparently a little too much or a little too little evidence to overturn the call. And so Russell Martin has been caught stealing. Third time on his season in 6 tries. So that will do it for the third inning. 5-0. Toronto Blue Jays leading it.
Astros as we head to the top of the 4th. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in the game. It'll be brought to you by Miller Lite.
5-0 Blue Jays. We go to the 4th inning. 4 minutes and 25 seconds to get that review done. Your thoughts?
It's not good. There's got to be a limitation on the time they can spend on that headset. If they don't, for me, if they don't have it after 2.5 minutes, let the play stand.
What are you doing after 2 minutes? You're just spinning your wheels. Well, what about this?
Well, the jury is being sequestered, and they had to argue it out because somebody enjoyed the meal that day and wanted to hang around a little bit longer.
That's the reason. I wasn't aware of that. But
no, but they need to. You can't go that long.
No, I'm good with you. The Astros have yet to get a base runner this evening. 9 up, 9 down. George Springer struck out in the 1st inning. The only strikeout on the night for Sanchez, who has been rather masterful. He's gotten 5 ground ball outs to go with that strikeout. Springer hits one on the ground left side. Donaldson cuts in front of the shortstop, makes a circus effort and can't make the throw on the money, and Springer's aboard.
As fantastic as that play could have been, Jose Reyes makes that play easy.
Oh, yeah.
You see Reyes in the background getting ready to make that catch and throw on a speedy Springer. Always hustling.
And it's an infield hit, but your point is well taken. There are certain plays where you're going too far as a third baseman, right?
Yes.
Leadoff hit here in the 4th. Jose Altuve puts it on the ground to short. Do they get the double play? 6, 4, and 3, and they get it. And just like that, 2 outs in the 4th inning. So the Astros do have a hit, but Sanchez has faced the minimum now through 3 2/3.
Speed up rules by Jose Altuve, swinging at the first pitch and burying it in the ground for a double play. Easy turn.
First double play turn by the Blue Jays.
And that's not what you want to see after your pitcher just gave up a 5 spot, is sitting in the dugout trying to recoup, catch his breath a little bit, and you go out there and swing early.
Preston Tucker at the plate, flied to center field in the 1st inning. Hitting .288. Trying to catch fire again. Has a ball and a strike.
I'd like to see Preston turn on one of these heaters. Get the head out.
He's not a guy that's inclined to get cheated. Hits one sharply, but to his knees to make the play goings. And just 3 hitters come to the plate despite the base hit to start it by George Springer. 5-0 Toronto.
Your low fare now at southwest.com.
The concourse is here at the Rogers Center. We saw a beautiful sight outside the stadium. The CN Tower. You've got to get Julia up there and do that. It's not really a parachute thing. You just hang out over the top there. Julia would love it. 5-0 Toronto as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. 7 hits for the Blue Jays, 1 for Houston. An infield single by George Springer.
Is Julia going to hang off the top of that CN Tower yet? Can we make that happen?
You guys remember me talking about how scared I was of heights last year?
Oh, it's not that high, Julia.
Well, you got to confront those fears. This would be a great way to do it.
2-1 the count.
On the edge walk? You want me to start there?
Yeah, they just tie you all up. You're all strapped in. You're ready to go. You can do it.
You lean back away from the tower like you're hanging off of it.
It's not like you're looking down or anything.
Yeah, see, you're back first. That would be dazzling. Put a GoPro on your head and you'd be great.
Justin Smoke leading off here in the 4th inning. Has a 3-1 count.
I don't think she's going for it, Ash.
I'm not hearing any sense of buying in.
Disappointed.
She's got that helmet. I don't know if you saw the helmet on her head on the last homestand, but she could wear that. Everything would be fine.
There you go.
Pitch is drilled down the right field side at the foul pole, and this one goes foul. Home run distance. A full count now on the 7-hitter, Justin Smoke. Little different look on the foul poles here in Toronto. You don't really have the pole. If the ball moves that net, it's a fair ball.
What if it's windy in here?
Why do you have to confuse the narrative?
Sorry. Get a wavering foul pole.
Trying to remember where I was. The leadoff walk now to Justin Smoke. He's aboard for Kevin Pillar, the 8-hitter. He's in some ballpark that had one of those. Might have been Philadelphia back in the day. And a ball went down one of the foul pole lines. Hit by the bullpens were right there, by the way. Hit by his teammate. And he took that netting and popped it as the ball went by.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Great thinking.
Good teammate.
Yeah. But he was caught. Cameras caught him.
But they didn't have replay.
No replay in those days.
Yeah.
You think a dinner was owed there?
Oh, you better believe it.
Jake Buchanan continues to toil in the Astros pen. Nobody out. Leadoff walk to Justin Smoke. Kevin Pillar had a base hit. That started the 5-run 3rd inning for Toronto. Ryan Goins then flied out. But Jose Reyes homered, his first of the year. Josh Donaldson singled before the Bautista bomb. Edwin Encarnacion had a double. He was driven home by Chris Colabello. And on and on. One and 2 the count.
Next pitch will be number 60 for Roberto.
Ground ball foul. Roberto Hernandez, now 34 years of age, comes in 2-4, ERA just under the 5 mark. And tonight is not going to help. Two and 2 the count. See Jason Castro behind the plate. Made a perfect throw to eventually throw out Russell Martin to end the 3rd inning. He's been throwing so well for the club.
Been doing a great job all the way around. Blocking balls, calling games.
Yes, he has. Pitches popped down the left field side. And that went just into the first row. Valbuena and VR giving chase, couldn't quite get there.
It's a lot of foul territory here at Rogers Center also.
You know, with that caught stealing by Jason Castro, he's caught 14 with 24 being safe, so that's 38 attempts against him and caught 14. That is really good.
Yeah, that is.
Approaching Well, close to 40%. Foul ball down the right field side, back to the seats. Kevin Pillar stays alive. Had an infield single off the glove of Hernandez to start that third inning. Mentioned that the Blue Jays are coming off a road trip. They won the last couple of games over the Washington Nationals by scores of 7-3 and 8-0. No team in Major League Baseball has won as many games by 4 or more runs this year as the Blue Jays. 16 times they've won by at least 4 runs. So they put up a load of runs. But on that flip side, they've given up a bunch. The Blue Jays are 4-28 in games where they score 5 or less runs. Compare that to what the Astros have done this year. When the Astros score 4 or more, they're 28-2. Now that's a tale of 2 very different pitching staffs. Kevin Pillar staying alive, a 2-2 count. The Astros 34-21 mark. It's a franchise best over 55 games for the Astros. Previous best 33-22 in 98 and 99. And another foul ball. Ball boy down the left field side getting a workout.
Yeah, that's all these dots on the screen here. Pillar's playing a game of cricket instead of baseball.
10 pitches here in the at-bat. That's not making life any easier for Hernandez. Line drive left field. Tucker's there and makes the play. So a very tough to get first out here in the 4th inning. Brings up the 9-hitter, second baseman Ryan Goins. It's one of those ABs you go back to the bench and everybody says, great at bat, nice job, and you say, yeah, take this nice job.
Yeah, we could. If I was going to get out, just do it on the first pitch and get it over with. Yeah. That's just agonizing right there.
It's just frustrating.
Gee, thanks, guys, cheering me on for getting out.
Out number 1.
Ooh.
Pretty good looking pitch.
Well, the way Roberto's going, he needs those calls.
These Toronto Blue Jays here at home are 14-12. They have been miserable on the road. 11-18. Here's the changeup, a ball and a strike.
Good changeup. Some flashes of brilliance from Roberto, but every mistake he's made in this game has gotten crushed.
Line drive down the left field side, slices foul. Yeah, they've got a ball boy and a security guy down the left field side. They're loose now.
Yeah, they were wide awake and ready.
One and 2 the count. But what the Astros need tonight is for the numbers to start making sense. For the Astros offense with the power game, major league leaders in home runs, to step up, and Toronto pitching to kind of live up to the billing. Little fister pop back of shortstop. Tucker comes on. A nice jump results in an out. Preston Tucker playing well in left field.
It was a nice jump. Really didn't have to slide, just kind of a courtesy slide, TV slide, if you will. But a nice play.
Toronto Blue Jays 8-10 since May 16th. Take a look at Preston Tucker. You can see that rubber flying all over the place out of the turf.
A little bit of a rooster tail.
I think back in the days, the early days of AstroTurf, it was concrete they poured in the turf.
I'm with you on that.
Fly ball center field. Easy for Rasmus. That'll do it in the 4th inning. Leadoff walk. He's stranded. It's 5-0 Toronto.
Is brought to you by M.D. Anderson. June 5th, 1969. The Houston Astros select James Rodney Richard with the 2nd overall pick in the draft. Big number 50, J.R. Richard. Ash knows quite well. Electric fastball, slider, maybe from hell. That was pretty nasty.
Reggie Jackson wants to know, is that legal?
Did you see that pitch he just checked the swing on?
Many a hitter did that against JR. Great stuff. And then look at the notable first-round picks for the Astros. Lance McCullers at the bottom of the list. George Springer, Jason Castro. That is a pretty good list right there.
That's a darn good list.
Wow.
I didn't realize Billy Wagner was a first-round pick of the Astros.
Imagine how that phone call went. I've got this guy. He can bring it. How tall is he?
5'2". Billy's going to call me later if he's listening.
Well, it was undeniable that his stuff was as good as anybody's. Evan Gattis leads it off here in the 5th.
Did you know he's a natural righty? Have you heard that story?
Yeah, he broke his arm when he was a kid, right?
Yep, broke his arm, wanted to keep playing, so he started throwing left-handed.
You know, he would have thrown really hard if they had been able to get that right arm worked out for him, I'll bet.
How crazy is that?
Gattis 0 for 1 on the night, grounded out to third base in the 2nd inning. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Leading off here in the 5th inning, he'll be followed by Colby Rasmus and Luis Valbuena. And down on strikes. It's just the 2nd strikeout picked up by Sanchez, but he has been really good. 1 infield hit picked up by George Springer, and that was a rather fortunate hit. Let's check in with Julia.
Hey guys, as Colby digs in here, we asked him today what it was like to come back to this ballpark after playing a few years here in center field, and he said, I felt normal walking in today. It's all about being with the Astros now, all about helping the Astros beat the Blue Jays, and that's all I'm thinking about. No baggage coming with me. Nothing from what happened here stays with me. I'm a Houston Astro and very happy to be with the team I'm on now.
That's a good attitude for Colby. And he's had a great attitude with the Astros. A guy who loves to play center field, but has enabled the skip to be able to put him in left field a lot of times this year, though he is in center field tonight.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure I understand how he left Toronto, but somebody asked me how he's doing in the Astros clubhouse, and I thought he's been doing quite well.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he's growing up a little, understanding the situation with Preston Tucker coming in here, doing a great job, but it is a long season.
I have not heard this from anybody's mouth. I saw it in a story as the drive goes foul down the left field side, pretty deep down the left field side. But the story said that Colby left after having to be benched the final month of the season in his last year with the Blue Jays, that John Gibbons just decided to bench a guy that was showing up late to the ballpark.
Well, that would warrant it.
Yeah, it would. Line shot. That's a base hit. Second of the night for the Astros. Comes with one out. Brings up Valbuena here in the 5th inning.
He can hit a fastball. He's got those hands dangling out over the plate. If he gets those things back and ready to fire, he can turn on it. I think he was making a concerted effort at trying to go the other way. We saw some of the foul balls hit pretty well down the left field line. And with that shift on, shot it right back up the middle.
Colby hit 73 home runs in a 3-year period for Toronto. So I'm sure a lot of the fans with that mixed review when he came up for his first at bat tonight recall what he did with the bat. Valbuena stung one as he lined his shortstop into the shift in the 2nd inning. We've seen the shift pay off for both ball clubs tonight, hauling in line shots. Strike called, and that looked like a beneficial call to the pitcher.
It's an extensive outside corner.
Now, is Russell Martin does he get a framing A because that pitch was called a strike?
Does he ever?
That's kind of part of what goes on. Who kind of found himself in a position to get the most of those calls over the course of the year, where an umpire just kind of loses it for a second? Well, is that fair? I don't know.
He's got a blind spot. I don't know where it was.
Ground ball right side. Goins will get the lead runner. They'll try to get the double play, and they turn it. Second one on the night, 4-6-3. And that does it for the Astros in the 5th inning. 5-0 Blue Jays after half of the ball game.
The 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot is open for the first time ever. It's online only. Vote for your favorite Astros today by visiting astros.com/vote. Guys.
Thanks a lot, Julia. course, Jose Altuve has been doing very well in the vote. Leading All-American League second baseman. The Astros have had just 6 different players in club history earn a fan election start. Most recently, the guy on Tal's Hill, Lance Berkman. That was in 2008. As of Monday this week, Altuve had over 2 million votes. So keep them coming. And the latest now on that all-star voting. Kansas City seems to be well represented.
Those fans are doing some serious work. 5 guys. But it's great to see Altuve's face lit up on there. Nationally, it's a pretty good mix.
Bryce Harper, the only guy in the National League with over 2 million. There were a few, I believe, there in that quick glance from the American League. Kansas City is putting out the vote.
Tell you what, plenty down there on that third baseline is getting some serious work in, shagging foul balls.
He'll get some icing of the knees when the evening is over.
Yeah, he's going to find out what turf can do to your body after a game.
Did you walk around this turf?
Yes.
Line drive left center field. Rasmus on the move makes the play. Nice play by Colby. Out number 1 here as Donaldson lines out.
Ball smoked off of Donaldson's bat. Low line drive. Might have been knuckling a little bit on the way out there too.
So Donaldson 1 for 3 on his night. Brings up Jose Bautista. He's 1 for 2. That one was rather large. 9th home run of the year. Hit above the second tank down the left field side. .34 RBIs now for the Blue Jays right fielder. Roberto Hernandez working into the 5th inning, but the Blue Jays on top 5-zip. And they counted 2-0. A lot of people will interpret that as a knockdown, but that was the slider. And now Hernandez gets a new baseball. And again up and in. 3-0 the count. Coming in. Oh, sorry, Blummer. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that might be a little bit of fatigue setting in on Hernandez. Missing to that arm side.
3-1. Finding the outside black. Starting the night, the Astros staff 3rd best in the American League in ERA. Bullpen, though, 2nd best. Line shot left field. Tucker is there battling lights and anything else that might have gotten into the play. He eventually makes the play. A little snow cone.
Lights are a little bit lower here at the Rogers Center. Like you said, with some of the signage and scoreboards around here, you can see how tough it can make catching a fly ball, and wow, that close.
You think he knew he had it?
Nope. That is such a bad feeling. Until you catch it.
Yeah, everything's fine then, but Hernandez has allowed 2 line drives but has 2 outs here in the inning. 7 Toronto hits. The Astros with just a pair on the night. And in each case, a double play has followed. One ball and 1 strike. By the way, Trey Hillman, bench coach for the Astros, not with the club tonight. He stayed behind. His daughter Brianna is graduating high school, so Trey should join the club tomorrow. And a congratulations to Brianna. Fly ball to right. Springer puts it away. A 1-2-3 5th inning for Hernandez. It's still 5-0 Toronto.
Here in the top of the 6th, let's take a look at the upcoming schedule brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Just started the series up here in Canada against the Toronto Blue Jays. We'll finish out the weekend here before flying down to Chicago to take on the White Sox. After that, a midweek day off on that Thursday the 11th before starting a nice long stretch of games, starting with 5 in Houston. I'm sorry, that 2-game series with Colorado there at the tail end of it kind of messes with you a little bit, and they'll finish off that 4-game set out there in Colorado before continuing on through the AL West in Seattle and Anaheim.
That's one of those little 2-and-2 jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that, too.
What's the point? You're putting both teams on a plane? I don't know.
Just go ahead and turn them into off days? Is that what you're saying?
Well, or just play one place. Off days are good, though, too. How about?
I thought you'd agree right away, but apparently not.
Well, what do you do with those 2 games? You just play 2 doubleheaders and then 2 days off?
No, do not like the doubleheaders.
I can't imagine trying to call both games of a doubleheader.
You're talking about as an umpire or a catcher?
As a broadcaster.
Oh, as a broadcaster, yeah. That would be grueling, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Chris Carter leads off. Carter brings a 12-game hitting streak with him. Chops it foul, has a 2-2 count. Still at 93 is Sanchez with that sinking fastball. Blue Jays had a right-hander, Henderson Alvarez, had this type of stuff. Moved on to the Miami Marlins and threw a no-hitter. Carter grounds out, so 0 for 2 on the night. A couple of ground outs as Jason Castro comes to the plate.
Now Sanchez has got a great sinker. He's pitching extremely well with it against these Astros. He's actually pitched pretty well here at the Rogers Center. 2.84 ERA coming in. But to be able to have the velocity and create that kind of movement is pretty special.
Castro takes a ball at 94. We're in the 6th inning. 5-0 Jays. Back in 1995 at the Astrodome, Craig Biggio wound up being the hero. Imagine that. 3-run walk-off home run in the 9th inning off Rob Nen as the Astros beat the Marlins. Curveball grounded to first. 2 big hops. Smoke makes the play on to Sanchez, and that's 2 outs on ground balls here in the 6th inning.
Hitting a bomb off Rob Nen is no joke. He had some filthy stuff as a closer.
That's 11 ground ball outs now induced by Sanchez. Yeah, Rob Nen for a good period of time there was among the best as the closers.
He was miserable to face when he was with this San Francisco.
Brings up Jonathan VR. 0 for 1 with a ground out. And now 1-1 count. The Astros minor league system continues to pump out the wins this year. And they picked up 4 players from the Class A Quad Cities River Bandits who have been elected to the All-Star team. We'll talk more about that. 3 ground ball outs and a 1-2-3 6th inning. 5-0 Jays.
Bottom of the 6th, it's 5-0 Blue Jays. Picnic in the Park with your Astros players on Sunday, June 14th, presented by Cisco. Picnic in the Park features a picnic buffet in the Minute Maid Park outfield, an autograph session with the Astros players, and family-friendly activities. To purchase tickets, visit astros.com/picnic. Ash.
Thanks, Julia. Can't you just picture Julia up there on that walk up there? Laying back, just kind of enjoying life.
Just laying back.
Just enjoying a ball game from about 600 feet in the air.
You can actually take a nap up there, Julia. Ground ball left side, diving stop VR, but that's it on the play. Maybe fortunate that ball doesn't go on by Chris Carter as Chris Colabello gets his 3rd hit of the night. He's 3 for 3 as he leads off the 6th inning.
Time now for our Whataburger What a Play. Jason Castro, the runner on first base, catch and release, and tagged by VR. Russell Martin, the opposing catcher, trying to take a bag on his counterpart. Castro said he'll have none of it, even though Martin gave it a pretty good effort with that swim move at second base. Play was reviewed. Play stands. Having a great year throwing guys out.
Just under the 40% mark. And he's been putting it on the money. Russell Martin at the plate, 0 for 1. Has drawn a walk. That caught stealing leaves him 3 of 6 on the year. Tries to bunt his way aboard and pops it to the mound. That's out number 1 here in the 6th inning. Your reaction tells me you're not totally into that effort.
Well, I just don't know. I mean, it's right on that gray area where some would question why he's squaring around to bunt with a 5-run lead after the 5th inning. Roberto tried to turn that into a double play with the fake drop.
Justin Smoke at the plate has grounded into a double play and walked. By the way, Colabello down at first base. I mentioned the 3 for 3 evening. He's hitting .369. It's a guy that don't know that the Blue Jays feel he's the best defensive outfielder available, but swinging the bat like that, you're going to play somewhere.
I'm going to say swinging the bat at almost .370 will offset some of the metrics.
In fact, some of the folks with the Blue Jays feel that, as you see, the Astros getting things heated in the bullpen. Pitch is fouled there at the plate. 2-1 the count. Joe Thatcher is up and getting loose, so maybe Thatcher comes on possibly somewhere here in the 6th inning. Line shot even with the shift. This one finds a hole. Springer drops the ball momentarily, but already stopping at second was Colabello, so he'll stay there. Error avoided. A couple of hits in the inning. 1 out for Kevin Pillar. It's the way Ted Williams went after the shift.
Just hit rockets right through him. That pitch right down the middle, hanging changeup.
A.J. Hinch wanting to know how things are going for Thatcher in the pen. Yeah, the Astros bats are going to have to find a way to come to life here this evening. They have 2 hits on the night. 2 double plays have erased them. Therefore, Sanchez has faced the minimum through 6 innings.
And he looks tough.
He does. Stuff is legit.
Yeah. Every inning. Really hasn't had to pitch too much off that fastball.
Two and 0 the count. Jays got 5 in the 3rd inning. They actually had their 9th hitter of the inning at the plate. That was Justin Smoke, but Russell Martin took off trying to steal, was thrown out after a lengthy review.
Another foul ball down that left field line.
Yesterday was one of those games where it just felt like it was foul ball after another, one after another. 70-some, I think we were told at one point.
Baseball is weird.
What the Blue Jays are doing tonight is that constant ground ball foul down the left side.
It's almost as if the Blue Jays are fouling off the tough sinker and then crushing whatever's hanging up out over the middle of the plate.
Is that possible? Can you actually think that way as a hitter?
No.
You don't want to debate that at all?
No, I mean, some guys could, but they're on a different level. I don't.
Yeah. No,
I saw nasty pitches and I was like trying to fight them off and get off me. And it turned into foul balls, thankfully.
Yeah. Ground ball right side. Altuve makes a heck of an effort and play. And now it's an out at first base. Ball gets away from Carter. Colabello will come in from third base and score unless there's some interference somehow involved on the play. John Gibbons, the skipper of the Blue Jays, is going to come out.
Some kind of bizarre going on up here.
I don't know if the Blue Jays felt that Carter came off the bag.
That might be the initial thought, but I think with the ball getting away, they're questioning whether or not Chris Carter actually had control of that ball. I think he did pick it, and with the base runner running into Chris Carter's glove is what knocked that ball out. You get a good look at it right here. Altuve ranging far to his left in that shift. Kind of took the ball with him up the line. It was a great pick by Carter, but as he brought his arm back, the ball was knocked out. But I'm with you, Ash. The initial call might be, can you review him actually staying on the bag? Looks like he did a pretty good job of it.
It really does. And was the ball knocked out by the runner coming up the line? It is a 4-3 ground out. That was quite an effort there by Jose Altuve to get the out. But Chris Carter might have made an even better play on the other end. So the Astros go to the bullpen trailing 6-0 here in the 6th inning. And we'll be right back.
Up here in Toronto, and it's time for the AT&T call to the bullpen. Roberto Hernandez has been sent on his way, and Joe Thatcher is into this ball game right now, making his 18th appearance. Pretty strong numbers, doing a great job of helping out that ball club. 1 run allowed in his last 12 appearances.
Just another one of the guys that has performed so well in this great bullpen for the Astros. What a job Jeff Luhnow and the staff did in putting this bullpen together. Ground ball to second. And they'll avoid another run here in the inning as Altuve gets the out. But the Jays pick up a run in the frame and lead it 6-0.
Presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
Right outside the Rogers Center, Aaron Sanchez has been spectacular tonight for the Blue Jays. Toronto on top 6-0. 2 hits for Houston, but the minimum number of hitters faced by Sanchez on the evening. 2 key double plays turned behind him. George Springer has one of the 2 Houston hits. The infield grounder that he beat out. That came in the 4th inning. George slams one to center field. Going back is Pilar at the track and makes the running grab. So Springer hammers one. Comes up empty. And that's out number 1 here in the 7th. For Sanchez, that's just his 70th pitch.
And he's really just pumping fastballs in there. George may have gotten a little quick on this one, got off the end of the bat, and still has the strength to almost drive it over Pilar's head. Well, and that, we talked about how many fastballs he's throwing in this game. His last start, he threw 84% of his pitches were fastballs.
Well, he's possibly above that figure tonight.
I would say so. He hasn't really had to do much else.
Jose Altuve has flied to right and grounded into a 6-4-3. I'm watching Altuve a bit lately. As he chops one to second base, he will beat it here with 1 out in the 7th inning. That's the 3rd hit of the night for the Astros. And that speed of Jose Altuve takes over.
Well, it's that old saying, speed never slumps, and this is why. Here on this artificial surface, nice big hop, kind of takes Goins out of that rhythm of making a good throw, and just that slight hop at the end allows Altuve to sneak that foot in there.
3 Houston hits, 2 infield style. The only one that's gotten through the infield, a line shot hit by Colby Rasmus. Preston Tucker is 0 for 2, has flied out and grounded out.
Well, the interesting number that we've noticed throughout the course of the season so far is the Astros average against fastballs, 243 on the season, 29th in baseball. Their average on fastballs that are 93 plus miles an hour, 208. And we've seen plenty of 93 plus from Aaron Sanchez.
93 on call right there. It's a ball and a strike. You know what inning we're in?
6th, 7th?
7th inning. 7th inning on. The Astros have been somewhat prodigious this year.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying there's a chance right here. But this is where you got to make something start to happen. Preston Tucker fouls it back. Good swing. It's 1-2. This guy's got a chance to be some kind of offensive weapon. Line shot to where the gap normally would be, but right there instead is Kevin Pillar to make the play. So Tucker shoots one to a would-be gap in left center field, but the Blue Jays play him perfectly. Two outs in the 7th inning for Evan Gattis. Sanchez brings it to Gattis. And again at 93. Not a lot of guessing that has to go on. Not with the 6-0 lead now. A lot of hard sinkers. One ball and one strike on Evan Gattis. Hitting .232. Gattis has a share of the home run leadership on the club. Tied with Val Bueno with 12 long balls. Pretty amazing. The team with the most home runs in Major League Baseball, and yet the leader on your club is 12.
Tells you a lot of guys are dropping bombs.
Perfectly spotted. 1-2 the count. Of course, you look around Major League Baseball. Start with the American League. Nelson Cruz has 18 long balls, followed by Mark Teixeira at 16. Josh Donaldson here with the Blue Jays has 15. Angels have two guys at 14, Albert Pujols and Mike Trout. Broken bat and a ground ball back to the mound, and that bat just flat blew up, and that does it for the Astros in the 7th. They get a base hit and leave a man. No longer has Sanchez faced the minimum.
By Miller Lite, and it's Roberto hanging a changeup to Jose Reyes. Sat back nicely, put the barrel on it, drove it out of that right center field gap for a couple more runs in that big 5th inning. Or big 3rd inning, I apologize. First home run of the season for Jose Reyes.
Reyes leads it off here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 6-0 Jays. Joe Thatcher's still out there after getting that quick out to end the 6th inning. Got Ryan Goins to ground out to second base. 20 consecutive scoreless innings tossed by the Toronto Blue Jays pitching staff right now. There's a drive, but that's way foul down the left side. So we talk all about the Blue Jays pitching staff and the woes they've had, and yet they're on quite a string right now. Yesterday, Mark Burley in Washington, D.C. threw a complete game shutout. 8-0 victory for the Blue Jays. You know how long it took?
35 minutes.
It was a little longer than that. 2:13 was the official game time, but
too many runs were scored.
We can dispute that time. R.A. Dickey, you see right there, 2 games before the Burley shutout, pitched a game that you know how long it took?
38 minutes.
It's 2 hours and 17 minutes.
It's pretty quick baseball.
But you do get what's behind curtain number 2. 2-2 the count. The Blue Jays have had a couple of shorties here recently.
Good grief.
That's a bit foul.
Bearings are a little off. We need to readjust that compass.
2 more games here against the Blue Jays. A couple of day games. 12:07 Houston start. In each case, Brett Oberholzer tomorrow against Drew Hutchison. And another foul ball just to keep the trend going. Colin McHugh gets the Sunday game against R.A. Dickey. There you go.
You ask and you shall receive. Oberholzer pitching pretty well last time out there. Wonder if Steve Sparks is getting that arm loose to throw batting practice on Sunday. Here's the R.A. Dickey stand-in.
And down on strikes, Reyes. So a tough to get out to start things here in the 7th inning brings up Josh Donaldson.
Good pitch from Thatcher. Tough arm angle.
A.J. Hinch coming out to the hill. That's going to do it for Thatcher with the right-handed bat of Donaldson coming to the plate. A guy who has been destroying left-handed pitching. So A.J. makes the move to the pen. 6-0 Blue Jays here in the 7th inning with 1 out. As Jake Buchanan will come on. We'll be right back.
The Astros and kick off your weekends at Minute Maid Park. Every Friday night home game is followed by the best fireworks show in town, presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. The next Friday night fireworks is Friday, June 12th, when the Astros take on the Mariners. For more info, visit astros.com/fireworks or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Thanks a lot, Julia. 1 out here in the 7th inning. Josh Donaldson 1 for 3 at the plate. And Jake Buchanan brings it. Shift on. Altuve on the left side of second base makes the play. 2nd out of the inning.
There he is, Jake Buchanan. usually the long man for the Houston Astros, but with this game a little bit out of hand. Give the young man a chance to go out there, hold this thing down, get those Astros back in the dugout, see if we can't see some late inning heroics.
Have you noticed if Jake's been wearing his khakis on the road?
Maybe Marisnik is.
I thought maybe we could get some consistency there.
Maybe a sequel of the two Jakes.
Yeah. Jose Bautista 1 for 3. Right off the end of the bat. By the way, all that talk about the Blue Jays and their pitching and all the difficulty and all that stuff. Blue Jays lead Major League Baseball with 5 complete games. Mark Burley has 3 of those. Your old teammate.
Shocker. He can do that.
Why is it a guy that tops out at about 80, what? What do you want to give him? 85, 6?
Ooh.
Maybe.
Oh, we're north of the border, so I'll give him 87.
Okay. How does a guy with that velocity pitch as successfully as Burley still does?
Because he's throwing another pitch as you finish your first swing on the pitch before.
So you like the pacing of his game?
Yeah, the pace is good, but he can just tie you in knots. Good cutter. He is the left-handed Greg Maddux. Not going to blow your doors off. He's just going to drive you nuts, keep you awake at night. About 2, 3 in the morning, you wake up with the cold sweats going, how did I not hit that pitch? And you've got a solid 0 for 4.
Yeah. Randy Jones, who used to pitch with the Padres, just tied guys up, and he was probably not even close to that velocity.
Had a great changeup, didn't he?
Yep. 2-out walk to Bautista, and it's hard to imagine that a changeup could be effective off of an 84, 85 mile an hour fastball.
Did he go?
Third walk issued by
Ooh.
Houston pitching on the evening. Comes with 2 outs to Bautista, brings up Edwin Encarnacion. Jose Bautista, as you might expect with all that power, among the leaders in the league in walks. 36th time he's drawn a walk this year. Strike on the outside corner. I don't think Edwin agreed with that call. Breaking ball bends low. 2-1 the count. Two long balls on the night for the Toronto Blue Jays. Jose Reyes and Jose Bautista, a couple of guys that were not at full strength or even in the lineup when the Astros took 4 straight over Toronto back in May. Big shift on. Wide open right side of the infield. And a strike called outside corner. Runs the count to 2-2.
Working that comeback sinker over that outside corner. Working a bit of that Greg Maddux strike zone.
The magic is back. I remember when the New York Mets, you'd go into Shea Stadium and that was the big slogan on Shea. The magic is back.
That place was magical.
It was magical, all right.
Because you didn't know what was living underneath that place.
Driving up to a dump site and the sign outside says the magic is back.
Wow.
And a second straight walk. Bautista and Encarnacion here in the 7th inning. Well, it wasn't that bad, but it was pretty bad, as you say, underneath.
Oh, man. I still think Hoffa's around there somewhere.
Wow.
Well, that plank you had to walk through underneath shade to get from the clubhouse
to the dugout.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. There were some interesting smells.
Stay loose, boys.
Oh, boy. Yeah, be ready to run. That's where the zombie attack was going to take place.
Well, Buchanan has walked Bautista and Encarnacion with 2 outs. Brings up Colabello, who's 3 for 3 on the night. And again, hitting .369 on the season. Talked a lot about the Astros bullpen and how they've stayed away from the walk this year. So a couple here in the inning, quite rare. That's 39 issued by the pen for Houston. Ground ball right side. Altuve's right there to a knee and makes the play. The Astros finally get Colabello as he's 3 for 4. They shut down the Blue Jays in the 7th, but it's 6-0 Toronto.
Power player of the game, and it's a look back at that Blue Jays Astros series. Colby Rasmus getting one of the few mistakes Mark Burley has made and launched it into that second deck at Minute Maid Park. High fives, forearm bash, little love up in the stands for Colby Rasmus, the ex-Toronto Blue Jay, doing damage against his old team.
Well, the Astros need some of that damage right now in the 8th inning, trailing 6-0. Game 1 of this 3-game series, game 1 of the 6-game road trip. Ezekiel Carrera takes over defensively in left field as the Blue Jays remove Chris Colabello. And Astros pitching couldn't be happier. Shift on for Colby. Third baseman Josh Donaldson playing at a shallowed up shortstop position. Aaron Sanchez has been great tonight. Here's a drive to right field, but just a couple of steps to his right is Jose Bautista to make the play. 1 up, 1 down in the 8th inning. Sanchez has faced just 1 over the minimum. First 2 hits on the night, Springer and Rasmus, were followed by double play grounders. A 1-out single by Altuve in the 7th inning is the only base runner stranded by the Astros tonight. Steady diet of strikes from Sanchez. Luis Valbuena now 0 for his last 8. Puts it in the air to center field. Pilar started back, but now right back where he started for the out. 2 fly balls for outs in the 8th inning. That brings up Chris Carter, trying to extend his 12-game hitting streak. Carter on the night has grounded out twice, once to short, once to third. That batting average at .203 for Chris. Well spotted. They're in the bottom of the 6th inning at Yankee Stadium. 7-1 Yanks lead over the Angels. 1-2. Carter swings through the heater. The Nationals are hosting the Cubs. Pretty good Chicago Cubs club this year. 5-4 Nats on top in the 7th. Carter stays alive. It's 1-2. 7th inning at Philadelphia. 5-4 Giants lead over the Phils. They're in the 8th inning at Fenway. The Red Sox lead the A's 4-2. Popped up right side. And this will be just back a few rows in the seats. Baltimore leads at the Indians 3-2. That in the 7th inning. They're delayed in Cincinnati. The Padres and Reds. Pods on top 5-2. They've played into the 6th. Carter takes strike 3. A 1-2-3 8th inning. Aaron Sanchez has been outstanding this evening.
MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or tablet, guys.
Thank you, Julia. Tony Sipp comes on now to work it for the Astros' 4th pitcher of the night.
Pretty good numbers on the air for Sipp. Running into some tough luck with a couple of walk-off home runs. But still fantastic numbers there in the month of April. You see the month of May has not been kind to him. He's glad to see that it's June. It is June, right?
It is June.
Okay.
And the Astros want to stay hot in the month of June. Sipp will work it to Russell Martin, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. He's been caught stealing tonight. It was the longest, I'm going to assume, caught stealing around the major leagues this year. Almost 4.5 minutes to get it done.
Maybe they were catching up on old times.
Chopper left side. Valbuena with the play and the accurate throw. 1 out here in the 8th inning. For the Astros in the 9th inning, it's 8-9-1 coming up. Jason Castro, Jonathan Villar, and George Springer. On the Astros bench, there's Jake Marisnick and a pair of switch hitters, Marwin Gonzalez and Hank Conger. One out for Justin Smoke. Smoke's 1 for 2. He's walked and singled, along with grounding into a double play. That's the only double play turned by the Astros tonight. The Blue Jays have turned a pair. That run that was scored, was that run number 6 for Toronto?
Yes.
In the 6th inning, has now been ruled a little differently than they initially ruled it, as the fly ball goes to right center. George Springer with the play. 2 outs here in the inning. They originally had ruled an RBI for Kevin Pillar as he grounded out. Coming in to score from second base on the play was Chris Colabello. The ball had kicked away from Chris Carter, but clearly an error needed to be awarded. They eventually did award an error. It went to Jose Altuve, which is really intriguing when you consider that Chris Carter caught the ball in the umpire's judgment for the out at first base, the throw from Altuve, and yet Altuve gets the error. He got an assist and an error on the same throw. Is that possible? I don't think you can do that.
I think that's the worst call I think I've heard. How can you give an error on a completed out?
I think we need to check in with Jerry Seinfeld, who might say, I don't think you know what you're talking about.
I mean, give the error to Chris Carter. It popped out of his glove.
I mean, it wouldn't be an easy error to take if you're Chris Carter. But let's review the play. There was an assist and an error on the same throw. That would be a record, I think.
That's tough to do. That would take some explaining for me to understand how that would even be possible.
Somebody sat around for a couple of innings and worked that one up, though.
Are you sure? Are we getting the correct information here?
Did we get that right, boss? Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'm going to go talk to Altuve and see how he feels about that.
Did we mention that Jose Altuve has over 2 million votes for the All-Star game?
And got an out and an assist while getting the error.
On one throw. Yeah. Down on strikes is Kevin Pillar. That does it for the Blue Jays in the 8th inning. To the 9th we go. A lot of work to be done. 6-0 Toronto.
pitching performance is powered by Kubota. Young man still on the mound, Aaron Sanchez, throwing nothing but 93-mile-an-hour heaters, the occasional slider. He has been blowing up some bats, pitching extremely well. No walks on the ninth, 3 strikeouts. Doing a good job, facing 1 over the minimum. Just unbelievable. Pitching at 93 to 95 miles an hour with that kind of sink, that is dirty.
Well, Jason Castro leads it off. Castro, VR, and Springer due up here in the inning. And VR has a bat waiting in the on-deck circle.
See how Martin caught that ball? It'll give you a good idea how much movement when your catcher can't even square it up.
Kevin Brown used to have that kind of a sinker at about 95, 96, right?
You just put me into a cold sweat. Oh, man. Yeah, that guy was filthy.
Memories are a great thing, aren't they?
Oh, man.
Occasionally.
Those were tucked away in a nice dark place, and they are back. But he was doing it about 6'4", 240, angry.
The man who I felt like single-handedly knocked the Astros out of the 98 postseason drive.
No doubt. What a matchup, him and the big unit.
That Astros team in 98 was, I thought, destined to win it all. Then came Kevin Brown.
Unreal.
2-2 the count on Castro. It's been all Aaron Sanchez. Oh, and a couple of long balls for the Toronto Blue Jays. Pitch is hammered high and deep right center field. Bautista going back and watching. Jason Castro has just launched one. The Astros get on the board on home run number 6 on the year for Castro. It's now 6-1 here in the 9th inning. And there goes the shutout.
Castro was pretty angry about the previous pitch being called a strike, and I think he just took it out on that baseball. Fastball out over the plate. He's been throwing plenty of them. Finally, Castro times one up nicely, gets it elevated.
So again, number 6 for Jason Castro. The Astros finally not only get on the board, but they put up a long ball here this evening that snaps a 21-inning scoreless streak for the Toronto pitching staff. Nobody out. Jonathan VR at the plate. Going to take some magic here in the 9th inning. There's that sinker.
Good grief.
And the Blue Jays start to get a man loose. Osuna in their pen, a right-hander. This one's drilled into right field. Back-to-back hits. Jonathan VR is now 1 for 3. And now the top of the batting order, George Springer comes to the plate.
It's that latter third of the game. The Astros come alive.
Russell Martin goes out to the mound, no doubt to buy some time.
Well, I can't imagine with the numbers you've been throwing out there about this Toronto Blue Jays pitching staff that they're real eager to get into that bullpen.
Yeah. It's the pitching coach, Pete Walker, going out to the mound. 100 pitches have been thrown by Sanchez. But I don't think they anticipated that among the last few thrown, Jason Castro would hit a home run and Jonathan VR would line a single. Springer, Altuve, and Tucker coming up.
Well, Sanchez has done a good job of creating movement at 93 miles an hour. A couple double plays made behind him already. Got a lot of confidence in this young man. He's pitched well and deserves it.
He had 12 ground ball outs recorded through the first 6 innings. He's gotten just 1 since.
He had a stretch of games in late April, early May where he went 107 pitches, 108, 108.
Still vying for his first career complete game. George Springer had a good swing his last time up. Jeff mentioned it was maybe off the end of the bat just a bit as he flied to deep center field. He's 1 for 3 on the night. And there goes the voice. And again, I apologize. Really battling with a cold. Yeah, it's been suggested that puberty is finally setting in.
So you're a big fan of the Brady Bunch.
Big swing by George. 0-2 the count. Not a bad show.
It was a good show. Big breaking ball. Nice healthy hack.
I think George was trying to outdo the home run hit by Jose Bautista earlier in the game. One hopper gets on by the second baseman Goins into right field. Digging for third is VR. And this should be a base hit. It should be 3 consecutive hits here in the 9th inning. And still nobody out. Runners at first and third. It is a hit. Second on the night for Springer. And here comes John Gibbons. That's going to do it for Aaron Sanchez. A spectacular night. Has been bruised a little bit here in the 9th inning. So the Jays will go to their bullpen. Roberto Osuna, the right-hander, will come on to work it to Jose Altuve. And again, still nobody out in the 9th inning. And you can see the appreciation from this crowd here in Toronto. We'll be right back. Get to him here in the 9th inning. Leadoff home run by Jason Castro, hits by Jonathan Villar and George Springer. So runners at first and third. The Astros try to mount something now against right-hander Roberto Osuna.
He's actually got good numbers coming out of that Blue Jay bullpen. Tough against lefties. Still, righties only hitting 208 off him. He's a fireballer, averages about 95 miles an hour on that fastball. Also has a cutter at 92. There's those numbers you were talking about, Ash. Trouble in the pen, 6 saves, fewest in the American League, 9 blown.
Yeah, the Astros are really going to have to kick up a storm here. Altuve is 1 for 3 as he fouls one on the right side.
Yeah, this is not a save situation, just pointing out the issues they've had. And it's kind of an interesting matchup with those numbers and an Astros team that scores well late.
Only 15 holds in this bullpen for Toronto over the course of the season. 28th in the big leagues. Good swing by Jose as he fouls it back. Sparse crowd here in Toronto, but making some noise here in the 9th. They've seen their Blue Jays hit a couple of home runs on the night. Jose Reyes and Jose Bautista. In each case, 2-run shots. Jason Castro The only Astro rather to go deep. There goes Springer. The pitch outside. The throw down is way outside into center field. Springer will dig for third base. And scoring from third is Jonathan Villar. And so it's now 6-2 with Springer 90 feet away. Still nobody out. That'll be an error charge to Russell Martin, who's thrown really well this year.
He does throw well on the whole. This one just gets away from him. The Astros' speed creating runs.
For Springer, his 12th stolen base. He's been caught just one time. And Altuve down on strikes. So there's the first out of the inning.
Didn't break. Might have been looking for something else, but this ball perfectly placed on that outer edge of the plate that Hirschbeck has been calling all night.
With one out, it now is in the hands of Preston Tucker. Evan Gattis waits on deck. And Preston takes a strike. For Tucker, 0 for 3 on the night. Half swing, he goes through. Home plate umpire takes it himself. John Hirschbeck with the call. It's 0-2. Osuna from the stretch. Trying to go up the ladder. Got a rung or two too high.
Trying to get that punch out with the runner at third. Just a ground ball right now. Anywhere in the infield scores that run from third.
One of the stats we've talked about over the course of the year, when the Astros score first, we've got an amazing 22-4 record, but when the opposition scores first, very different figure. So Tucker down on strikes. Back-to-back punch-outs here as Osuna comes on. And he's gotten Altuve and Tucker, and it now brings up Evan Gattis.
Actually backed up that good fastball he has around 95 miles an hour with a changeup. Great location on it. See why the numbers are so tough against lefties for Osuna.
Yeah, that was filthy with that changeup. And now it's up to Evan Gattis. 2 outs. Boy, this is big time closer like stuff. That stolen base by Springer, the 46th for the Astros on the season. '97 and '95 just blown by 4-seamers. And now the Blue Jays crowd coming to their feet. Just 20 years of age, Roberto Osuna. And that fastball got him. Blown on by. Back 3 strikeouts in a row. Altuve, Tucker, and Gattis to finish it. And a very impressive performance by both Blue Jays pitchers on the evening. The Jays win it 6-2 here in the first of 3.